Greetings, everyone, and welcome to our show today. We're going to be talking about the powerful and miraculous assistance that's available through intuitive angelic auric clearing work. And basically, I'm just going to share a little of my own experiences as a healer with each of you. And I'm hoping that some of my clients are tuning in live today. And if you are, I really encourage you to write in with your testimonials with what you've experienced through this assistance, because I feel the most beautiful way to share is through the heartfelt testimonials, because each of you have your very own experience. And then for those of you that have never experienced an auric clearing, or you're not even sure what that is, feel free to write in questions or write in comments that you have connected to what I'm discussing today. You can all call in on 919-518-9773 if you'd like to call in with your questions or comments, or just type in and Amnon will help me, my behind-the-scenes angel. So first of all, I'll just kind of explain what it is. For some of you that have already been tuning into my shows, you may have heard how this all kind of came up for me. About a year and a half ago, I was just being called into this work. I was being awakened from my dreams, and just a lot of the intuitive knowingness that I've had throughout my whole life and my empathic gifts were really coming to the surface, and I was encouraged and guided to come out of my angel closet and assist humanity. This kind of time that we're in of evolution, where we're being encouraged to release our conditioned ways of clinging, release our ways of attaching to anything in an attempt to feel like it's giving us some sense of an identity or some sense of worthiness. And so the reason I basically feel led to offer this healing is that from the heartfelt experience of what I've gone through as a healer, my own healing experiences, my intention is to help share that message with those that are ready and open for it. And I've literally experienced miracles in my healing room with clients here in physical and in my healing space, as well as with clients that are remote that I tune into from afar. So, for example, there's been a few clients. One that sticks out right away is there was a woman that I assisted on the East Coast, and she had, during the reading, I sensed a lot of energy blockages in her left side of her body, and she had a lot of injuries that were going on in her left side of her body. And as I started to tune in intuitively and share that with her, it was all confirmed, and she, let me know, yes, in fact, I'm having these problems. She had a lot of arthritis and things that she had been chronically experiencing and having a lot of pain. And she had gone to many doctors asking them, what she could do to heal this. And she got the same message repeatedly, which was, you're just going to have to take medications, and it's just probably going to get worse rather than better. And some part of her knew that that was not true, that she knew that it was possible to heal. And because she believed that, she went inside of herself and called out to the universe and asked for an assistant to help her to heal that. And we were very synchronistically connected through Facebook, and she reached out and asked for my assistance. And so as I helped her, we had a joined intention. When I work with a client, we'll set an aligned intention of what it is that they're ready to clear and release, if they're aware of that. And if they're not, that's okay, because their angels will still bring the messages and let me know what's going on. And then we have a joined intention of what we're ready to call forth, what we're setting an intention to embody and embrace in the physical. So setting that intention is very powerful. So I encourage clients that work with me, before we even tune in and start to assist them, I ask them just to tune in a meditative space, feel their intuition, connect with their hearts knowing, and let me know what it is they know they're ready to clear, and what it is they're ready to step into. So for some people, it might be that they're ready to clear fear. just in general, and they're really ready to expand and to evolve into a greater aspect of themselves. Maybe they're ready to manifest more financially, or they're ready to have more connected relationships. And so, clearing the fear, clearing any kind of lack, clearing any ego is going to really benefit that person as well as everyone that they will connect with. So, back to the woman that I assisted on the East Coast, she had all these issues going on in her body, and I gave her direct messages that were very specific to her from a cellular level and from an energetic level of reading her auric field and tuning in and connecting and reading her Akashic records and just listening to her angels and spirit guides bring me messages. And she listened to everything that I said, and she followed through, did her work. And I say that because a healer will assist you with information. Like I say, I feel I'm a messenger of spirit, so I will tune in and listen. But then you, as the client, you have to take those messages and you do with them as you will. You're going to either listen to them and you're going to shift things in your life and you're going to make more time for yourself. You're going to embrace more self-love time, or you'll ignore those messages and just go right back to that stressful way of living, focusing on fear rather than abundance, focusing on separation rather than unity, and not much will change for that client. They'll still stay stuck. They may still struggle. But this client was a good listener, and she did her work. And within a couple days, she contacted me and said, you know, Tawnya, I don't know what it is you're doing because it doesn't really make any sense to me, but all of my pain is gone. All the arthritis is gone. And it was just blowing her mind. She didn't understand how this was even possible. But she said she knew, a part of her knew that it was possible to heal, and that she refused to listen to doctors tell her that she couldn't. And so as she healed all that, she was blown away, but she also was ready for it and she was open for it. And so about, I want to say 6 months later, she contacted me and she let me know that she just wanted to let me know she was so grateful and that she was still totally pain-free. And I bring this up because I feel these shifts in consciousness that are being presented to us, and we're giving these opportunities to really see from a place of wholeness, a science and a spiritual wholeness. We're really opening ourselves up to remembering so much more that we're capable of. And with this healing work, it's truly going to change the planet. I feel like like myself, there's many of us that are here to kind of ignite this awareness, and we're kind of the pioneers that are setting, the torch bearers, bringing the truth and the light. And it's going to really open up great opportunities for healing and shifts for the planet. And I feel there will be a time where just cutting into people randomly and experientially and giving drugs and things will really be looked upon as kind of barbaric as we evolve, because so much of the time that's not necessary. And so as I'm using that woman as an example, because I know that there's many of you that are maybe tuning in that you're struggling in some way. It could be you have a physical ailment, or it could be that you have a relationship situation. Maybe you're struggling with your own confidence, your own self-worth. Whatever it is, it can completely be cleared, and you're able to be assisted on an energetic level. And so that is what I have offered myself as a healer, as my intention is to serve and assist those who are ready. And when I say those who are ready, I really mean that. I'm not here to go chase people down and push this on them or have to prove to them that this is what they need. It really will be, if you felt drawn in today, if you felt summoned in, and you're working through something and you know deep down you need some assistance, that's the first step, is acknowledging that. And then listening to your intuition and trusting that what you want to heal is possible, and allowing yourself to connect with myself or another healer that you feel is of a high vibration and that you trust. So that would be the first step, is that you call that in, and then that you trust in it, and you trust in the opportunity of wholeness, that you believe in your right to wholeness, that you believe in your right to abundance, and that you allow yourself to align. And so, like I said, myself and many other healers, we're going to be the messengers that will help with this and will bring you the messages you need. Kind of like a personal trainer, we're going to give you a plan. We're going to give you the messages of what you need to address and our intuitive guidance on how best to reach your goal. And then you, as the client and the recipient of this energy, will have to do your own work. You're going to have to really realize that that first clearing is going to clear a lot from your auric field. So all that past life debris, all the cellular memory of things that maybe even unconsciously are affecting you today, when you allow a healer to come in and assist you in clearing that and showing you a path to your wholeness and helping you remember who you are, you're going to be amazed of what is possible and how capable and powerful you are. But until you can clear all that fear, many humans will just unconsciously keep living out the same patterns again and again. They'll keep dating that same energy again and again, and keep creating partnerships with the same energies again and again, because at some level, if they don't feel they're worthy or deserving or good enough, they'll attract that into their life. So I'm going to pause for a second and see, do we have any questions or anybody that's calling in, Amnon?
Not yet. You will.
Okay.
You will.
Okay. So yeah, feel free to call in if you want to share any testimonials, especially if you have worked with me. I totally encourage you to call in or to write in and just share your perspective. Let me go into, I'll give a few more examples. As far as physically, I assisted, I think I shared this briefly on one of my shows where I assisted my dog. She had a tumor that was a pretty good size, like little, those little bouncy balls you get out of the machines. She had one sticking out of her neck, and it concerned me. And so I went into a meditation and just kind of tuned in on what to do and was guided to go and just assist her with an auric clearing, and worked on her for about 45 minutes, clearing her body, clearing her auric field of any toxins, any lower vibrational energies that had attached to her, and just setting her clear. And then I set the intention just to dissolve that tumor as if it weren't real. And so part of it is not being too attached to the so-called reality. If something's frightening you or it's disturbing, disruptive, we can see it and go, okay, that's what's here now, and here's where we're going. Here's what we're going to set our focus on, and we're going to clear that. And so as I set that intention, worked with her for about 45 minutes, at the end of that, that tumor was completely dissolved. And my daughter was here when it happened, and she had felt it before, and then she reached over and felt it, and she was like, what the hell? She was freaked out by it, but I think my family's starting to get a little more used to all these miracles that happen around me. But the point is that, I could have gone with an approach of traditional method of go to the vet, have them cut her open, put her under anesthesia, a lot of unnecessary things to have the same result through energy healing. So I'm making a point about this because I know that there's many of you that feel, we've been trained to go to the doctor, go get something cut off, go get something, just get some medicine and put it in there and hope it works. And there's definitely other alternatives if you're open to it, that I have witnessed miracles. And I'm actually writing a book about all the different things I've seen, so that I can help people understand this. But let's see, so my dog, physical. I talked about the woman with her arthritis. That was a very physical experience. I've had some clients. I had a woman who, when I was working with her, we had a vision together of a past life she had had where she was a slave, and she was sharing with me her experience, what she saw, and how it was very painful. And empathically, I felt that she had died in the field in really extreme conditions, very, like overheating, and just like the feeling of being in the hot sun and just having your brain boiled. And it was terrible. And this was a past life, but in this life, I would say she was in her maybe 60s, and her whole life, she said she never felt free to just go outside. She always felt anxiety if she'd be outside. She never desired to garden or do anything like that, working with the land. And after we cleared that in a or clearing, she contacted me a couple days later and she came in and saw me and gave me a big hug and was just like, "Oh my God, Tawnya, I cannot believe it, but I just feel different." And she told me that yesterday I was out gardening and I don't know why, but I've never felt drawn to do that. And now all of a sudden I feel okay. Like I feel safe to be outside. And so this healing work can assist us at a level that doesn't even sometimes logically make sense. For those that are maybe new to this kind of work, it may really challenge your thinking, and be open to that. Be willing to allow your mind to be expanded and challenged, because it's really those who are open are the ones who are going to have the most amazing and profound experiences. And those who are very excuse me, attached to a belief system or anything that limits or controls what is possible, they're going to be the ones that will have, more struggle as far as having shifts in their own experience. And it's only because of them. They're really the ones blocking that flow. So take a little sip of water. I'll kind of walk you through an intuitive or clearing. Like what I do first of all is I will meditate and just bring my mind into stillness, and I will ask to have access to the Akashic records of the ones coming to see me. So whatever client's coming, and then I just tune in meditation and I just let go and just allow myself to be an open channel to receive information. And then often when the clients show up, or even if I'm tuning in with them remotely and they live in, Texas or the East Coast, it doesn't really matter. I'll just intuitively have a feeling about what may be going on with that client. I'll start energetically tuning into them, and I'll just start to know things and feel things. And then when I meet with them, I'll explain what I'm about to do, and I'll have them just lie down either in their own homes, or if they're in my healing space, they'll lay down. And I have calm music, and I just ask them to relax and just let go, just to open themselves to receive. And I remind them to set their intention of what it is they're ready to clear, and to set their intention for what they're ready to call in. And then I just kind of I go to their crown of their body, the top of their head. And first thing I do is I call in angelic assistance, and I just sort of feel the angels arriving and kind of surrounding the client and myself with supportive energy. And then I will ask Michael to tune in and to start clearing the lower vibrational energies, any disruptive energies or entities that are connected to the human from a physical level. And then I'll ask him to clear it from their auric field, which is kind of that bubble that contains the soul. So it's kind of like the physical body. There's different layers, like emotional body, mental body, I'm just like losing my emotional body, mental body, and then there's the auric field that's got all of that information inside of it. And so basically, once I tune into all of that, then I start to go into the human and just tune into their crown. I connect to their third eye, their ear chakras. We clear those, the throat chakra, and I'm just listening. I'm walking around, I'm listening. If there's any energy that needs cleared out of there or any emotional cords that need cut, I start cutting those and releasing it. The energy is always released to the band of mercy angels. So I release it. A visual I could give you to make sense of it is kind of like Superman, where there's the guys that are trying to kill Superman with the kryptonite, and they've come from his planet, and they contain them and they put them in that little like cube capsule and send them into the universe. That's pretty much like what we're doing. We're containing this energy and we're just sending it to another dimensional space to be assisted, so that those entities can have a chance for rehabilitation. And when I talk about entities, it might kind of blow some people's minds, but you'd be amazed of what is attached to some humans that is not them. So an example would be an alcoholic, somebody who's got a drinking problem or a drug addiction. When they're high or when they're drunk and they kind of check out, it's like they leave the door to their temple open, and this body being your temple, you leave it open, and a lower vibrational energy can come and kind of host on you and try to act out through you. And that's a whole, I could do a whole show on just that right there. So if you're interested, let me know in that. But I basically am tuning in, and I don't really get too attached to like what is it, and we have to microscopically figure out every single dust particle in the dustpan, but we're just like dust buster. We're clearing it out. And then the highest priority messages, whatever is the most important focal point for the clearing, will be given to me and to the client. They'll have inner knowingness depending on how tuned in and sensitive they are. Many will see visions, or they'll hear things, they'll feel things, they'll just have an awareness. Sometimes clients, if they're really more five sensory and they're very, left brained, they're not real sure about this whole thing, they may just kind of conk out, and it's like they're being put under anesthesia. That happens a lot to clients. Some come back with an awareness of where they've been or messages they've received, and some don't. And it's really fine. It's just whatever you're open to at that time. So, any questions so far? Anybody, Amnon?
No, ma'am. I'm gonna go.
Okay.
I'm gonna step away for a second. Go ahead.
Okay. So basically, that's what I do is I'll go through the body and clear and just listen to messages. And as I get through all the energy centers, the different chakras, sometimes I'm guided to clear the hands. I'll just step back and I'll know things about what's going on with that client. And then after we do all the clearing work, we'll set the intention of what they're ready to embody. And I'll work with Archangel Ariel. She comes in and she assists in illuminating the client's body, illuminating their auric field, and raising the vibration of that client so that they are coming from a higher aligned space. And we activate unity consciousness. So it's kind of like when a lot of humans come to me and they're very wounded, or a sense of disconnection and separateness. It's like there's a left and a right. There's like a brokenness to them. They're very bipolar. And as we activate unity consciousness, we bring that together to where they're coming from more of a wholeness. And that wholeness really starts to shift them. I've had clients that I've connected with remotely that I remember one guy, I did a clearing for him, and he was just like, oh my God. It was like, I can't even recall the name of the movie right now, but there was a movie he watched where the guy was taking some kind of drug and it made his entire brain function at the same time. So he's using all parts of his brain, sort of like Einstein, talked about that we have the potential to access all the different parts of our brain, and many are not. And when this client received a clearing, he said he felt like that, like everything, his mind was just sharp and clear and focused, and he knew exactly what he needed to do, and he didn't have fear that was blocking him like he previously would have feelings of fear that were kind of getting in the way. So that's one thing I'd say across the board, most clients have just a deep sense of peace, a deep sense of calm, and it's just very relaxing to receive their first clearing. And then a lot of shifts start to happen in ways that maybe blow their minds. Like the woman that had the past life that you don't, like I said, it's very unconscious. You're not really thinking about it. You just know something's making you feel nervous about a situation. And then after the clearing, she just felt at ease. She felt good. And I think that all humans are here to enjoy life. We're really here to thrive and to enjoy our lives. We're not here to, feel like we're just surviving or trying to avoid something that we can't even understand. And so I would say across the board, all humans would benefit from an auric clearing and from some intuitive guidance from their angels and guides. And it's just a matter of when you're ready. If you feel intuition that receiving a clearing with me would serve you, just trust that. Just trust it and set aside some time to make that a priority. I feel one thing on our planet is that it's up to us to really value what's important. And if a lot of us are valuing these very superficial things that, give us a temporary sense of satisfaction, but we still feel that anxiety, we still feel there's just not inner peace, there's something churning inside of us and we don't feel good enough, We're always working harder, 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 and burning ourselves out because of that self-worth issue that we don't want to deal with. We don't want to address it. And so we go buy a new purse, or we get our nails done, or go get our hair done, or, go get drunk. We have all these different things that we'll do to avoid that inner work. And what Source tells me is it's okay. Like, we don't have to do our inner work if we don't want to. We can continue to operate from that misaligned space and continue to suffer and create suffering. That is absolutely a choice. However, in the end, what you're going to have waiting for you is that work to do. So it's kind of like you can deal with that work right now and then have your life come into a greater balance and have the foundation of your life be laid with integrity and alignment and self-love, and then build everything in your life upon that. Or you can not really value that and just continue to build things on a structure that is not a solid foundation and have it continuously falling away, continuously creating disruption and suffering. And that's okay, because at some level, each of us will go through what we need to awaken. Each of us will, suffer as long as we need to suffer before we choose to find another way. So I would say the gift of angelic auric clearing is another way. And it's not the absolute only way. There's all different types of healers and assistants here that are here to serve humanity and assist us in healing and assist us in living more authentic lives. But I have personally witnessed amazing miracles working with angels. And if it's something that you're curious about or something that you really feel drawn to, I offer healing mentorship trainings. I'm going to be starting one this Saturday for those local, and I will be discussing with Amnon ways that we could offer that on the internet so that we can actually have like a live show with the intention of being a healing mentorship for those who want to participate in like an online class. So if you're interested, please contact me and let me know that. But basically, there's assistance that is here for you. If you're ready, you need to do the work. You need to get in there and just step in and claim your power and realize that once you face those initial things that you've been afraid to face, they're going to just fade quickly. Because if we're afraid of something from the past, it's over. It's not even real anymore, except for the part of ourself that's clinging and attaching to that at a cellular level. And so if we're courageous enough to release it and let go, then everything is going to get better for us. So I really encourage you to, tune in and see, how is it that I could live a more authentic life? How is it that I could live with greater integrity? What is it that I need to clear in myself? Rather than blame others for anything, really look at yourself and think, what is it that I need to align with? How can I shift these certain behaviors in me that will create a more beautiful life experience for myself, and also open up more beautiful relationships with others? So those are a few questions just to ponder.
I have a question.
Okay, go for it.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, you always can ask a question.
Okay. When I think aura, I think something angelic and holy and positive 100%.
Okay.
Why would somebody want to clean it?
Okay, that's a good question. Well, basically, an aura is not necessarily angelic and positive and 100% good energy, like good meaning enjoyable energy. So in an auric field it can contain all the different experiences. So if someone's been burned at the stake for, being a healer and they were killed for it, that's in their cellular memory. So their last thoughts that they had right before that happened to them, or somebody that has been betrayed, by a loved one, and they betrayed them and hurt them so deeply, and that's the last memory they had of that person. All of that stuff we kind of carry with us unless we are tuned in enough to know, okay, this just happened to me on a day-to-day basis. I release this energy. I release, I let go, and I forgive, and I have the wisdom now, and I'm moving on with greater clarity and awareness. That's where we're headed, is to live in a way that we do this work every day. We're constantly observing, tuning in, discerning, and clearing out what isn't any longer serving us. And so where we've come from, though, was being taught that we couldn't really connect with Source without going through different people. There was a lot of rules about how to connect with Source or God, and or Allah or Buddha. There's different ways that it's been expressed, but basically, we have the ability now. We hold all the information inside of us right now. We have the ability, we have the information, the wisdom, the potential all within. And as we clear these fears and these lower vibrational experiences from our past, it's going to really help us to operate from a higher vibration so that we emit a frequency of love and compassion and oneness instead of emitting a frequency of fear and insecurity and jealousy and things like that that are really getting in the way of our, higher goals and visions. So really, like with an aura, it's containing all different energy. It's not really necessarily good or bad. It's all energy. So it's all experience. It's the pain, it's the happiness, it's the joy, it's the sadness, it's the anger, the fear. All of that is in there. And so as we clear our auric field, we release a lot of heaviness of the past. We release a lot of ego. And then we're fresher, we're freer, we're clearer. We're not clogging up our energy system. For those that know much about chakras, if we have, say, issues where we're not really coming from our power and we're not asserting our power and we keep kind of letting others take from us energetically, and we often have like a sick stomach or, we have tension in our belly, then that would be a sign that right there in your power center, you're cutting off your energy flow. So when I use the visual of kind of like a garden hose, when we're watering the garden, the water's just streaming out fine until we put our thumb over the hose, or if we kink the hose, now there's pressure building in that hose and the water can't get out, but it's creating pressure on that hose until it starts to swell and create a physical problem. And that's exactly what's going on in our bodies if we're not keeping our energy flow moving with fluidity. Then we start to block something. So, in our solar plexus, we have tension and fear. We don't believe in ourselves. We don't assert our power. So we kind of shut it off. And then the energy will start building there. And it's going to start creating disruptions. So now we have maybe IBS, we have irritable bowel syndrome, or we have ulcers that are happening in our stomach, different things that will start to manifest in that part of the physical body. And as we can keep that energy moving and clear, then we have a whole healthy body and we have greater access to the energy. So we're now accessing the energy. The kink comes out and it's open. Now the energy is moving up to the heart. It's coming to the throat, third eye, and crown. And we're feeling a oneness with Source. We're having that, universal flow is moving through us without any blockages. So does that kind of make sense and answer your question?
That makes sense, but you burst the bubble.
I burst your bubble?
Yeah, because I always
I'm kind of good at that. Just just because Source is just like, well, they may have this belief system, but sometimes the belief system is not really aligned with truth. Yeah. And there are those that have an aura, like when we see someone's aura and they're just glowing, and you can feel they are channeling spirit. Maybe they're a musician and they're just playing the guitar, or they're an artist, a healer that's speaking about what they're passionate about, and you just can see a glow around them. That aura is showing you the light and the love and that high vibration. So in that case, you're seeing that pure love, you're feeling it. And that, in essence, is what we are. That's what we're capable of, and that's what we're here to align with. But we also can express and project out an energy of lack and fear and heaviness. And you can sense that when you're around someone who's really insecure, or they're very fearful, they have a lot of anxiety, they have a heaviness to their energy. When you're just near them, maybe you feel a heaviness touch you, or kind of just you feel flustered just being around them. And these are things to pay attention to, how different energies will affect us and how different energies are affecting these people. And it's not really like a good or bad thing. It's just something to be aware of. And really, it's about being mindful. What do we choose to embody? Do I choose to embody the energy of love and compassion and unity? And I want to be opening myself to receive and to express with freedom and love? Or do I choose today to be insecure and feel like I'm weak and I'm small and I'm insignificant? That's a choice. We can do that. Source doesn't really mind. It's what do we choose? And if choosing again and again that sense of smallness and insecurity and sickness, if people would be more mindful of what they speak about and what they think about, they would shift what they're living. So, an example is someone insecure and fearful. If they wake up in the morning and they're just like, oh God, I just, I don't think I'm good enough, and these people are just going to see right through me, and they just start their day with that energy, and they're just insecure and they're fearful, and then they start talking about it and like, oh, I'm sick, and I'm always sick, I've had this sickness forever, and they're chronically talking about their problems, they're chronically talking about their lack. I'm poor, I'm always broke, I never have enough money, whatever it is. When they're putting that out vibrationally, others around will feel that and will react to it. So the laws of attraction state that what we focus upon, we draw energy to, and we then start to co-create with source. So if we're focused on sickness, we're talking about it all the time, we're in fear, we're just manifesting more of that experience and drawing more and more. Maybe now we hang out with only like sick people and people that also are really angry about sickness. And so that's our common connection. And we can create clubs and groups and foundations based upon this. It's possible. But we also have the opportunity to realize that that is not serving us at some point and go, wait a minute, I'm starting to notice this now. That when I focus on the good and I focus on abundance and I think about it and then I talk about that, and I'm talking about what I'm grateful for, I'm talking about how much I love life, how much life loves me, I expect miracles, I know that I'm capable of helping create miracles, and I talk about that. When we start shifting that dialogue to abundance and wholeness, we start creating that with source. So now we've co-created this experience where we're powerful and we're given respect and reverence for our gifts. We understand what to do as it comes. We completely know what to do and we take action. That's a possibility as well. And that's the difference between an energy or a human that is out of alignment or a human that has stepped into alignment. They've stepped into the vortex with source. So it's kind of like, picture like a beam of light coming down. And what most humans do is they dance around that beam of light. They dance around and they say, well, someday I want to do this, or I'd like to try that, or, I'm trying to be patient. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do that. I say this a lot with my healing groups. So all of my students have heard this before, but it's truth. If we are dancing around that circle and we're not having the courage to just step into it, then we're going to struggle. So we basically need to just make sure that we're really listening and that we're really allowing ourselves to come into that space of wholeness, and we're being that alignment, rather than if we're afraid and we're not stepping into that alignment, then that's going to just, like I said, it's a choice. You don't have to step in, but stepping into your light and your power is going to serve you and others in amazing ways. And it's worth the work. It really is. So any other questions?
I don't have any. I don't know if somebody here has a comment about something.
Yes.
Okay.
Hi, Tawnya. It's Kathy.
Hi. How are you, Kathy?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm great.
I wanted to comment about the auric clearing that I had with you. And
Awesome.
it was amazing because you were just right on. You just picked up on so many things that just really rang a bell with me. And during it, I I was more like I had feelings that kind of transformed into thoughts, if that makes any sense. And
Yes.
I've learned since then to start being more mindful and pay attention to thoughts when I am in
Awesome.
stillness. To just be still and be mindful and pay attention to some thoughts that come to me. And it's amazing, just amazing what can
Isn't
happen.
it? Once you start having that awareness, you're like, whoa.
Yes, it's really amazing what you can gain from this when you start really paying attention to your thoughts and your feelings.
Absolutely.
And
I totally agree.
wanted to thank you. And this workshop you've got going possibly sounds like a great idea.
Yes. Yes, I would love to do that if, we just get some people that are interested in tuning in, and kind of like we're doing today, they just can tune in live and I'll just be sharing, but they can each have feedback and kind of ask me questions, and we can really learn and grow quickly this way. And, in my in-home classes, I can reach so many people at a time, but it would be awesome to reach out and assist more souls that are ready for this on a bigger level. So that's the intention, and we'll see if people are ready. They will let us know, right?
That's right. And
Awesome.
I have to always remember to set my intention. I
Yes.
for some reason keep forgetting. I just go right into it and okay, stop, slow down a minute. Think about what is your intention here? What are you trying to do?
Yes, it's so powerful. Like anything we're doing, if we can get up in the morning before we even get out of bed, just kind of process our dreams and thank Spirit for the beautiful day ahead. Like just set that intention to have a beautiful, amazing day. And, I'll tell my angels, thank you for all the magic and miracles. Like just surprise and delight me today. And I just set an intention for that magic to come my way and for me to be a part of that magic. And it's an amazing difference of having the mindfulness to begin a day with a sense of reverence and gratitude and expectation of good than to just jump out of bed and there's not enough time, I got to get there, and we're racing. And I think so many of us, if we start to be more mindful with our thoughts and with our intention, we really will start to see how powerful that we can create shifts together, because it's all about that intention and being mindful of our own thoughts. So that's awesome that you're doing that.
Yes, I think that is a big problem with most people because they're just being drawn in so many directions that it's hard to focus on one thing.
Yes. Yes, and I think, I found that with myself. I'm actually in a moment right now in my life where there's so many amazing opportunities came my way at once, and it's awesome, and I'm grateful, but I've been really tuning in and discerning like which energies feel good to me. And so that's a huge part of the evolution of living more sixth sensory, is not being so attached to the logic or attached to a title like, oh, now you're the CEO and you feel like crap every day when you go to work, but you're the CEO. And so I think it's really important that we learn to discern day to day what it is that we enjoy, what we love, and again, come back to our intention. Is this space that I'm entering, is this aligning with my highest soul's mission and intention? Do I feel joy here? Do I feel that this energy is receiving me with love and reverence? Or do I feel like this is like a repeating energy that I've already experienced that's coming to test me, coming to show me like, do you think you're good enough? Are you going to prove yourself to me? Are you going to work extra long hours and run around in circles for me? And, we'll sometimes manifest bosses like that or life partners like that. And I think that it's important that we constantly are tuning into self of like, wait a minute, is this enjoyable? Do I love this? Does this feel good for me? Does it feel good to be around this energy? When we're dating someone, don't be too quick to commit to being with that person for the long haul until you really get to know their energy and their intention. And I feel like living with mindfulness means we're living in the now every moment. We're paying attention to all the information and we're discerning what's best for ourselves. And that's a different direction than many of us have been taught to go in, because I feel for so long on this planet we've been conditioned to just suck it up. You just need to go do the hard work. Stop being a baby. Don't be so sensitive. You need to go and work harder and prove yourself. And that, from my awareness, comes from a sense of I'm not good enough and I'm not worthy yet. So I have to go and jump on the hamster wheel and I have to spin it around and around till I feel worthy. And that is a way that we have been conditioned to live. And many of us feel like that's what I call the uncomfortably comfortable. It doesn't feel comfortable, but it's what we know. And this opportunity that we're being given to evolve is daring to care about what you feel inside, daring to feel and discern every moment what feels best for you and what feels healthy for you, because you love you. And because you know your alignment and your health and well-being are the highest priority. Like your health and wholeness and joy is way more important than being a CEO of anything. And we need to be open to that and not attach ourselves to titles or roles in a way that starts to create sickness and stress and tension, because that's when I talk about surrendering the ego. The ego would tell you you have to do all these things, and then you'll be worthy, and one day they'll treat you with respect. And the soul will tell you, what is this? I deserve respect. I do not deserve to be spoken to in this way. This makes me feel sick. Being in this energy causes my body to shake. I feel tension. What is this? This doesn't feel good. And so we're learning to trust in the emotional body and what we feel and to honor it more than going into the ego and the logic of, well, I got to at least suck it up for 6 months, I've been married for 10 years. I got to make sure I can make it to 15. And that's fine if you feel your intention is in alignment with why you're staying somewhere. But does that make sense? Kind of just like how we need to tune in and discern moment to moment?
Yes, and I think I'm becoming more aware of not only my but other people's attachments to things.
Yes.
And it's, I'm noticing that it's really kind of ridiculous how attached we get to things.
Indeed. Things, jobs, each other, people, titles, all of it is, its source tells me that all of these titles and all these attachments, the reason we cling is that we feel that they in some way give us a sense of an identity. And so because the ego doesn't feel safe just being free, it feels like you need to have some sense of identity. We need to get something solid and structured and create a foundation and create, a description and a title and just create more and more energy around the structure so that it's solid and it's mine and nothing can take it away. But then at the same time, the ego, as soon as it's doing that, is over here in fear of what if something happens to take it away. So now you create disruption inside of you and you create fear and anxiety that is not necessary. And it's all to protect that ego. It's all to protect that sense of identity. And if we can release all the sense of identity and just stay open, it doesn't mean that I'm Tawnya and I'm a healer, but I'm not attached to how that has to happen. If I, teach a Pilates class today and then tomorrow that class is not there and something takes that away, I don't need to lose myself and feel like I'm nothing now because I don't have that job. It just means something's evolving, and if I stay open to that evolution, then I'm now becoming what my soul's ready to embody now. And so same with relationships. If we're married and once we really loved each other, or maybe we thought we loved each other, but we realized one day, this has not been love. This has been codependency and controlling and fear the whole time. And that takes great courage to be honest about that. And so this is why many souls don't want to do that. They don't want to do the work, because the pain of really looking into what you've created and being accountable for it can be intense in the beginning. But once we do it and we see what we've created, we're like, wow, I have created all of this. And so what of all of this that I've created brings me joy? What do I actually love? And if I'm doing all this stuff over here that's exhausting me and I don't even enjoy it, why am I choosing that? And so if we can start to tune into those questions and then be willing to release what we're not really loving, we create space and freedom to receive what we love. And so that's the people that you see that seem to really just be happy and joyous, and opportunities come and they're just always moving and evolving. I feel what they've figured out is they've figured out how to live without that attachment. But at the same time, we have a society that tells us if we live in that way that we're selfish, or, I've seen people, like famous people, be degraded because they could feel a partnership relationship wasn't working and they moved on, and pretty swiftly moved on, and their career was going awesome, and then people were like, oh, what a diva, or what a bitch, like she just totally took advantage of all those people. And so we create problems for our own evolution, because the ones that aren't doing this for themselves, they're not loving themselves and having that be a priority, then they start to project their anger outward to others, because they feel, if I can't be free and do what I want, you shouldn't be able to. So does that kind of make sense where we get in trouble?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So this is, basically we're in a place where we have so many choices, but I would encourage, any of the clients I've worked with and all my friends and family, I just feel like the most important thing is to live in a liberated way, to be able to be free. And if I feel someone's coming in and they're trying to project something on me that tells me I have no freedom, like I don't have a freedom to express myself, or I don't have a freedom to really honor what I feel, where I'm at now in my life is I really look at that as a huge red flag. And then I'll tune in meditation, ask my angels for guidance and clarity, and figure out, okay, what is this about? Am I supposed to bring a message to this person or this situation? Should I be patient and stay here for a while and keep speaking truth? Or would it be best for me to just cut this cord, learn from it, say thank you for the lesson, and let go, and then move on with greater wisdom? And so really it's a process we have to do for ourselves of daily, connection with Source, and tuning in and asking these important questions about your own self-worth and self-love, and then being courageous enough to listen to the answers and to take action. When you get that clarity and you just know you're in your gut, it's screaming at you, it's telling you the direction, have the courage to go confidently in the direction of your dreams and desires, and without apology, without feeling that you need to prove anything. I feel like that's what keeps so many stuck, is that the ego tells them that they have to prove something, or, oh, you made a commitment, an agreement, and you stay stuck in these places, and it's like an imprisonment that humans do to themselves, and then society kind of projects that back, and they want to imprison individuals and make them feel a sense like they control you. But really, when we're honest, we are in charge of ourselves, and if we're accountable for our own actions and our own choices, there's a freedom and a power in that, and we always have that opportunity. Make sense?
It sure does.
Yay. So any other things you want to share about your clearing, or any questions that you have? Or
Well, I've had a problem in the past. I've gotten better with compulsive shopping. It's like I'm in the hunt and gather mode. I like to go and find a deal, and then I get a rush when I find a deal.
Yes.
Even if I don't need it, even if I have more of it at home.
You're like, I've got 3,000 deodorants. Why do I need another one? Because it was 20 cents.
Or I think, oh, that would make a nice gift for someone, but I don't really have anyone in particular in mind. And
Yes.
and these things are just starting to become more evident to me, what I've been doing. I don't really have a handle on why I've been doing it exactly. I guess maybe to fill a void.
Yep, that's exactly what the angels are saying. Exactly.
But I think it's good that at least I've become aware of what I've been doing. And
Absolutely.
I've gotten much better at it.
Good. Yeah, and I think, being aware and having that awareness and mindfulness is power for you. And so it's just let go of any feelings that you need to judge yourself or shame yourself. I think the reason that people are slow to do their inner work is because externally we've been conditioned to be shamed and judged. So then we don't want to look inside because then we have to be like, oh man, look, I'm terrible. I've done all these things. But if we release that ego and we release that shaming energy and that addiction to shame ourselves, we can simply look and go, wow, look at this. I just got a new awareness of something I've been doing. Why have I been doing that? That's interesting. I'm observing. So it's like the higher consciousness of you is observing the character of you being played in the film of your life.
Exactly.
That's what's really happening. And then that consciousness is just like, oh, look at what you've been doing. How come you've been doing that? Would you like to change that? Okay, let's stop doing that. That feels better. And then there's no shame. And really, we have this opportunity to handle everything like this. Oh, we dated this person. Just didn't feel right. Yeah, I was with them for a few months and really hoped it would go in other directions, but doesn't really feel right. So I love myself. Thank you for the awareness. Letting them go and moving on with freedom. And I love what new experiences are coming my way. And so that kind of living is very much self-love foundation. But I hear so many clients say, oh, if I do that, people are going to think I'm selfish. They're going to just think I'm selfish and that I'm just entitled and just do my own thing and don't care about them. And I'm like, well, it's all how you handle it. Because really, self-love is the first love that we must understand before we can truly love others. And so I think a lot of these addiction behaviors come from a lack of self-love. So then it creates a behavior. So we might have an addiction to shopping, or we get drunk before we go home to deal with our family because we're so stressed out. Or, some have a sexual addiction because they were shamed for their sexuality. So now they feel so bad about it, they can't stop doing it. And then they have to hide it in the closet. And what it does is it starts to create this just like a dark dragon that's inside them that really creates a lot of suffering. And if they just can observe and go, okay, I've been doing this. What is this about? Like, let me tune inwardly and feel this. Like, why is it that I feel like I need to go shopping right now? I'm feeling kind of empty. I'm feeling kind of like something's, not fulfilling in my life. Why do I feel like shopping will help? It doesn't really help, I've noticed. Then I feel guilt about the money I spent, or, I feel guilt about all the clutter of all the things I have. So what is it that I am really needing inside? And then as you're in that space of reflection and stillness, Source is connecting with you and like, you're already enough. Let me fill you up with that awareness. Let me fill you up with love and show you that you're so beautiful and you're so enough. And let's go ahead and clear some of that clutter. And let's go ahead and just know that it's okay to go shopping, but let's do it when we're just really, there's something we need and not because we're going to escape and because we're tense or we don't feel we have anything that fulfills us. And let's kind of shift that and put our focus on a hobby, something that we really love that gives us joy and passion and a sense of purpose. And so do you see how you can kind of start seeing one behavior, clear it out, and then realize what you're really ready to embody and what will actually bring you more fulfillment, but let that come from inside and kind of spill out. Rather than when we're out like shopping or collecting relationships or collecting, trophies. We want to be the best runner ever. I mean, we can collect anything. We're collecting in an attempt to feel like we're enough and to feel like at some point we're going to feel enough and we'll have enough stuff or people or title to feel okay. And if we can just clear that tendency and just come to a place where we accept our own self-worth and feel at ease, then we choose everything, but we choose it from love rather than from fear.
Well,
I
could
go. Make sense?
Yes, and I could go on and on, but I think you're out of time, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So I will stop now, and thank you very much. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you, love, for sharing. And thank you all for tuning in today. If any of you have questions and you didn't get a chance to tune in live, because I know some of your lives can be busy, but really look into that. If there's things that are important to you that you know can help you and you're always saying you're too busy, really check into that. Let's have some awareness on what we prioritize in our lives. And feel free to contact me if you have questions. And if any of you are in need of an angelic auric clearing and you have more questions, or you're just like, you know what, I'm just ready, Tawnya. Like, let's set up a session. I am ready for some miracles. Then contact me and we'll make that happen. You can go right to my website and or give me a call. Find me on Facebook because I'm on there often sharing things. And I have some spring clearing specials right now for the month of March, and I'm going to have it go for March and April. It's basically if you purchase 2 auric clearing sessions, you'll get your second session half off, and you're welcome to gift that second session to a loved one, or you can use it for yourself down the line, so whenever you want to use it. Or you could use it for an intuitive angel reading or a coaching session. So just let me know on that. And then the other offer is if you, as a client, refer to me new clients, I will also give you a discount on your sessions for coaching or angel readings or whatever. So just contact me and trust if you are being summoned in that there's a reason, and there's just you're shifting and you're coming into a space of alignment and power is what the world is ready for from you. So you're avoiding that is just delaying the inevitable. We all have the inner work to do. So why don't we just, like Nike says, just do it and get it over with? What do you say? So anyway, thank you all so much for tuning in. As always, it's a pleasure. And next week I'll be interviewing a friend named Holly Marwood, who accesses the Akashic Records, and she channels for the High Council of Orion. So we're going to be interviewing her and just getting to see her take and hear her way that she approaches this and connects with Source. So thank you all so much for tuning in today, and I look forward to connecting with you next Monday at 4 p.m. Pacific. Namaste.
Tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, Health In with Debbie Bruck, Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Lessons of Vietnam with NCVVI members, The Tawnya Love Show, Reawaken Your Brilliance with Julie Seibert, and if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it at www.nissancommunications.com. Sponsored by Atomus.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters for professionals. ThatVidBlasterGuy.com, CarolinaApparel.com, and DeltaForce.net.